Good morning. I'm Rob Carruthers with the Stewardship Committee, and I'd like to introduce you to Scott and Caitlyn Brazill, who have been members of the church now for at least 5 years. And Scott, I think you've been here for 15.
Yeah, about 15 now.
Okay. Well, today, as we explore the topic of expanding a culture of generosity, I'd like to ask Caitlyn to tell us her story about how she's learned generosity. So, Caitlyn, do you think everybody's born with generosity?
I think most people are born with generosity in their hearts, but I think a lot of people learn generosity throughout their childhood from their family, their friends, organizations like church. So,
And have you seen this in your life? Have you seen your generosity grow?
I think both of us have learned a lot about generosity coming to church. I think our favorite Bible verse about generosity is 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6 and 7. It states, "Remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." And I think this has kind of been a foundation for us as we become more generous in our giving. So,
When you've been generous, do you think about what the person's going to do with what you've given them, or do you just give?
it's funny you ask that because a while back we were actually introduced to a family in need, and while we were buying things for this family, I thought to myself for a second, is this family going to do what was intended with these things? Or are they truly in need? And I had to remind myself of 2 Corinthians and that, God didn't put us here to judge whether or not somebody is deserving of generosity. He put us here, to bless other people with our talents, with our time, and just to give generously.
Well, thanks. Now, Scott, you're a firefighter and a EMT. And how has your job been affected by how you have been generous?
So I think my profession is really unique to generosity. It's something I always heard about as related to the fire service, that when you join the fire service, you gain a whole nother family who have your back in good times and in bad. We had an example of this a couple of years ago. One of my coworkers, his son was
Diagnosed with a horrible disease.
yes, ALD, or adrenoleukodystrophy. It's a rare genetic disease. It affects about 1 in 20,000 kids, and there's no cure for the disease.
And how were you generous with your coworker and his son?
So immediately, my coworkers and I were able to step up and start covering Adam's shifts. It made it so that Adam could stay at home with his wife and take care of his son, who was quickly unable to take care of himself. This also allowed Adam he kept receiving a paycheck because guys were covering his shifts, and he was able to keep his health insurance as well.
Building a culture of generosity here at Living Lord, I think we just need to look around and listen to the stories of the people that we go to church with, because we are impacting the world around us, the community around us, our families, and we just need to do that more.